Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fear and Greed Business Headlines. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello to you, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
On weekdays, it is all about the Fast Five, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, we're still going to keep it to 5 minutes, but we're going to pick out the biggest story of the week, our favourite story, the sleeper story, and the most remarkable story. So let's get straight into it. Sean, what for you was the biggest story of the week?
I think we're going to agree on this one. COP26, the UN Climate Change Summit in Glasgow. Now, it's popular to say it's a failure, but I'd argue otherwise. India turning up and saying carbon neutrality was its goal by 2070 was massive. It's the third largest emitter behind China and the US, and no one expected it. 100 nations, including Brazil and Indonesia, signed up to stop deforestation. That is critical because forests absorb about 30% of carbon dioxide emissions. 100 nations agreed to reduce methane. That's important, even though Australia wasn't one of those. And just the publicity, Michael, that COP26 has caused. Billionaires are throwing money at the problem. Celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Cher and Pitbull are using their social media influence to help people think about it. And rich countries are helping poor countries. Great story for the week.
I think it is very hard to beat that one as the biggest story of the week, so I will concede. I will agree with you on that one. What do you think was the most remarkable story?
Well, I think the fact that the Reserve Bank and financial markets totally disagree on what's going to happen about interest rates. The Reserve Bank this week said rates were unlikely to rise before the end of 2023, probably into 2024. It did say it will stop targeting the yield curve. In effect, that means that fixed interest rates on mortgages have risen. That's the outcome of that. What's really interesting is the Reserve Bank thinks that inflation that's in the system now is really transitory. It's a result of supply chain bottlenecks around the globe and other COVID factors. Economists disagree. AMP Capital and the Commonwealth Bank both think interest rates will rise next year. That's about 18 months before the Reserve Bank. Businesses are feeling the heat. Ingham's, the food company, Domino's, the pizza maker, CSR, the building materials company, they all came out this week and said price pressures are in the system. Inputs are going up, food prices, grain prices, and transport prices are going up. That's why I think it's remarkable, the difference between financial markets and the real world and the Reserve Bank.
That is a remarkable story. I have a contender though, and I'll put this one up for your consideration. It is about the fact that Australia's involvement in the COP26 summit this week was completely hijacked by the sideshow of Scott Morrison versus Emmanuel Macron, the French president. Things were already tense going into it because of the cancellation of the $90 billion subs deal, but it just got a whole lot worse when Macron told the Australian media that he didn't think he knew that Scott Morrison had lied to him. When a private text message conversation between the two world leaders was released, arguably as proof that Morrison hadn't lied, it made it so much worse. The French ambassador said relations had hit a new low. It, to me, is the most remarkable story of the week because we should be better at this diplomacy, very high-stakes game, and we haven't played this one well.
Yeah, fair call. One thing I'd just add, Macron is no angel in all of this. He's also been fighting with Boris Johnson around fishing rights between the UK and France. He has an election to go to next year. Surprise, surprise.
Yes. All right. I think we might agree on that one. Then what do you think was the sleeper story of the week, a significant story that didn't get as much attention as it probably should have?
Well, on Wednesday, the Commonwealth Bank said customers would be able to buy and sell cryptocurrencies using the CommBank app. Now, there'll be a bunch of currencies on it: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. Others will be released at some point. The Commonwealth Bank app is a way of investing in cryptocurrencies, but not actually using them to buy stuff. Really, really interesting. Basically, Matt Comyn, the Commonwealth Bank CEO, said people might invest in cryptos as a hedge against inflation. Another reason, though he didn't say it, is that competitors in the payments space like Square and PayPal already allow users to trade and spend Bitcoin. And the tax office has said about 600,000 Australians have invested in digital assets already anyway. Big move when Australia's biggest bank and the market leader is giving its nod of approval for cryptos. It validates digital currencies, even if they can't be spent using the app yet. I reckon that's where it's going, though.
That, to me, is the sleeper story of the week. You've got that one spot on. All right, let's wrap it up with the favourite story. What was your favourite story of the week?
Well, basically, the horse races, primarily because I picked the Melbourne Cup winner, and I never actually do that. In short, racing has had a great COVID. Prize money in Australia is up 82%. 72 races a year are now worth $1 million or more. And last weekend, 2 of the 3 free-to-air broadcasters, 7 and 10, ran racing on the main channel. Quite incredible. The sector has problems. Welfare is still an issue. Gambling is a social problem. There's no doubt about it. And the ubiquity of these gaming sites everywhere, I think, is an issue. But just for a week, I just like to watch the racing.
Well, Sean, my favourite story is a big one because of the companies that it involves. Early this week, Microsoft regained the crown as the world's most valuable company. Microsoft went up, Apple went down slightly, and they're both around the $2.5 trillion mark. And what I just find remarkable is the speed of the growth. The fact that a couple of years ago, Apple hit the $1 trillion mark, then the $2 trillion mark. Now both Apple and Microsoft are around the $2.5 trillion mark. That is just amazing. That's why it's my favourite story.
Fair enough. Agree with that one.
All right, there we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and we look forward to your company then.